The Place with Jade Burns.
BBC Radio Merseyside.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burn and cauldron bubble. It's a tale that's over 400 years old, and yet Shakespeare's classic tragedy Macbeth is still selling out crowds. Young actors from the City of Liverpool College will be taking over the beautiful St Luke's bombed-out church later this month, and I got to catch up with them earlier today.
I'm Eden. I'm a student at Liverpool City College, and I'm an actress.
And Lord Macbeth?
Hi, I'm Jay Blower. I'm a student at the City of Liverpool College, and I'm an actor.
And I understand you're both doing a play, Macbeth, and I'm made up to also be joined by the producer of the show, Paul Carmichael. Paul, tell us about the production of Macbeth. You know, it's a 400-year-old show, but people are still attracted to it now.
It is. Well, I think it's, when you look at the state of our politics at the moment, what you've got here is you've got an awful lot of backbiting within governmental systems. So I think that's something at the moment that we can all kind of understand where that comes from. So I think it's still relevant. Shakespeare still writes about emotions that you and I both know. He writes about love. He writes about anger. He writes about passion and violence. And it might be 400 years ago, but these are still things that, you know, speak to us as human beings, I think. And especially in Macbeth, because it's such a short play for Shakespeare that everything happens in this sort of very compact 2-hour time frame. And it rattles along as a play. The audience already got to sort of like, you're on the edge of your seat trying to keep up with the action as it goes. It's a wonderful, it's my favourite Shakespeare. I think it's a fantastic play.
I think it's a fantastic play as well. And it's so true what you say. I mean, it is so relevant even now, Shakespeare, even Romeo and Juliet, it's so relevant. Mm-hmm. Eden, how is it playing Lady Macbeth? And so, you know, she is just such a character. How, you know, today, 2022, how have you interpreted Lady Macbeth?
I think Lady Macbeth is like a very powerful like character, and I think that goes like across the board. Everyone knows her as this like powerful woman, especially in those times. It was like not common. So it's really like inspirational, but at the same time, she's got a bit of an evil twist on her that you kind of have to play. But also there's so many depths to the character, like she's very vulnerable at the same time. So it is a challenge trying to show all them emotions in like just one character, because a lot of people think that she's just like evil and she manipulates others. There's a lot to it. So it's definitely a challenge, but it's been amazing. I really enjoyed it.
And, you know, you yourself and Jay, who are obviously younger in college, do you still find Macbeth so fascinating? Jay, what do you think?
When it was first told to me that I was going to play Macbeth, it was such a shock to me, as I've never really done classical before. I've always been a film actor. I've always liked to act in front of a camera. So being given this challenge and actually being pushed to try and develop my skills was just something that just shocked me so much that it, like, nothing like this has ever happened before, and I'm still trying to process it now.
So you're definitely out your comfort zone playing Macbeth. Is this part of your exams?
It's a part of a project we're doing now, yeah.
And so we're in the bombed out church for this one, really atmospheric venue. Why did we choose this venue?
I think it's because up at the Arts Centre on the top of Myrtle Street, we've got a lovely big theatre. But I've been doing Shakespeare's every year for about, 20 years just on now. So for me, it felt like, I'd like to get out the space for a while. And St Luke's is just such a wonderful venue. Just to walk around it's amazing. It's so atmospheric. So to be given the opportunity to take a Gothic piece of theatre into a Gothic space and play it out there, even though we're not doing it strictly as a piece of theatre, there's multimedia elements and all sorts of things. There's even a scene with a flamenco dance, which is nothing to do with me. I can honestly say these two are responsible for that. We had a scene that wasn't working, and Eden, as I recall, said, you can go and we'll sort it. And I came back, and we've got a scene which is part sword fight, part flamenco dance. And I looked at it and thought, well, this is insane. But the play's insane. So it does fit really well. And then if you put all of that within the grandeur of St. Luke's, you know, it looks It looks beautiful at church. When it's lit up, when you've got a play in there, it's perfect. And I think Macbeth is the perfect play for it in there.
I love that. Eden, you must tell me more about slotting in some flamenco dancing. Where did the idea come from, and why did you think, yeah, let's turn this into a dance instead?
I kept watching the scene as we were here. I was just like, I don't like it. If I was an audience, I'd be incredibly bored, just because it was, I mean, Macbeth isn't boring, but, you know, there's just certain parts of it that was the one scene that kind of didn't flow. I thought, I've just got this idea of him just bursting out into this flamenco dance, like dead, like passionate romantic. And I thought, can we give it a try? And Paul was like, yeah, we'll do it. And I was like, and it worked. It did. And they've been great. And I'm glad I got to do it, to be honest. It was really fun.
It sounds it. Tell me about the multimedia elements. That's got me thinking as well.
Well, there's a scene in there, which is the apparitions, when the three witches show Macbeth the apparitions. And I think that if you were to try and do that on stage, you could try and do it, you know, as though it was the 1600s, or you could try and do it in a modern way. But I think trying to do anything with apparitions appear is always going to be a little bit tricky. So we went out last week. We walked over to Hilbury Island off West Kirby, and we shot that scene as a 7-minute long short film. So that's how we open Act 2 now, is with this short film. And it's turned out beautifully. It's this haunting piece of work that we've got there that really complements the rest of the play, I think, really beautifully. And it's never a bad thing to give your actors a bit of a rest, because doing this play, especially for these two, it's like running on the spot for 2 hours whilst trying to remember this dialogue that's 400 years old. So there is that element as well, but it seemed to fit really beautifully, just to sort of like have this fantasy sequence played out. You can't be sure if what you're watching is real or if it's a dream then as well, and we can play around with reality.
I absolutely love that, and I love the idea of, as you say, taking it into the modern age, taking it into 2022. Why not have apparitions? We've got amazing technology these days. I love the sound of this. So it's Macbeth with a bit of flamenco and some film. Where can we get tickets?
Yeah. Right. Well, we're on next week. We're on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's the 26th and 27th of April. The show starts at 7:30. And if you'd like to get tickets, you can go along to slboc.com/what's-on. slboc.com/what's-on. But if you just go to the St. Luke's website, you'll be able to find your way from there quite easily.
Perfect. And tickets are available still?
They are still available, yeah. They're priced £5 and £3 concessions.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Best of luck with the show.